Just believe that somebody put that fictitious name in there. Satoshi Nakamoto and Bitcoin.
Redo Satoshi's proof of work paradigm. So there are many, many new innovations in blockchain ecosystem and blockchain space. There are like the next steps or the next generation blockchains, but we are more. Our main task is first to do correctly or more optimally Satoshi's work.
The main reason I'm here is to clear my name that I have nothing to do with Bitcoin, nothing to do with developing. I was just an engineer doing something else.
Okay.
And if you look at the time span, 2001, when it was supposed to be developed, I wasn't there. I was working for the government through a contracting company. That's not me. I never communicated with Bitcoins.
Okay.
Leah wrote all this?
Yeah.
Now, most of the people in the crypto community, most of the people want to know the exact face of Satoshi Nakamoto. But what most of the people forget is the real mission and vision of Satoshi Nakamoto. When you look at the Bitcoin white paper, it states clearly the vision and mission of Satoshi Nakamoto when he was creating Bitcoin.
Just believe that somebody put that fictitious name in there. Satoshi Nakamoto and Bitcoin.
The original vision is to become a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. That was the original mission of Bitcoin, becoming a peer-to-peer version of electronic cash. But currently, Bitcoin is being adopted as a store of value, which is one of the biggest achievements. It's not a small achievement. It is a big achievement, but it is not exactly what Satoshi Nakamoto wanted. Instead of trying to know the exact face of Satoshi Nakamoto, let's look at who keeps the vision and mission of Satoshi Nakamoto.
And the vision of 10 blocks per second is that things become internet speed crypto, internet speed proof of work. So you keep the same ethos, the same principles of Bitcoin, of a Nakamoto system, proof of work, blocks, transactions, all the things you're familiar with, and you are just sequencing the messages differently, sequencing the blocks differently, in a way that is guaranteeing eventual agreement, similarly to Nakamoto consensus.
And when you look at the whole cryptocurrency, you're going to identify that Casper is the only project that keeps Satoshi Nakamoto's vision alive.
What year did that come out? And the first paper was called Ghost, and it came out in 2013. And actually, we included Ghost, a version of it, in the Ethereum protocol. So later on, what they did is they built up the theory, they built up the rigor, and they created a new version of the protocol called Spectre, which came out in 2016.
Right.
And they've been since iterating and refining and thinking carefully about the model.
Putting all that work into, creating a DAG, I mean, is that something that you're really serious about implementing?
Tens of thousands of transactions per second,
Really?
Low latency, confirmation times. It's basically like an order of magnitude performance.
The people behind Casper are the people that you would say that they are the real Satoshi Nakamoto. You have Jonathan Sopolinsky, you have Aviv Zohar, you have people like Michael Satan, and all people in the Casper core team that you don't even know about. Now, this can be proven by the fact that Jonathan Sopolinsky and Aviv Zohar, these are the first people that were involved in auditing Bitcoin security. And the Ghost paper is one of the researches that was implemented as part of Ethereum's project.
So consensus runs on these two big algorithms. One of them is this LMD Ghost fork choice rule, which is an adaptation of this Ghost algorithm that was invented by Jonathan Sopolinsky in 2013 to a proof of stake context. And the main goal of LMD Ghost is to be able to handle network latency, be able to handle fast messages, and be able to kind of help rapidly confirm blocks.
A second generation distributed application platform. And this is all explained in this document, which is called the Secure High Rate Transaction Processing in Bitcoin. You can see exactly that Ghost paper is one of the researches that was used by Ethereum project. Now, if Ethereum used the research from Jonathan Sopolinsky and Aviv Zohar, and it went on to become this much successful, because we can see that Ethereum at its all-time high, it had a market cap over $500 billion. Ethereum at its all-time high had a market cap of $571 billion. Now, if Casper can manage to achieve this type of market cap, this would put the price of Casper at $21. Now, why do I think this is actually possible? Because Ethereum used the research from Jonathan Sopolinsky and
Well,
Aviv
that's
Zohar.
exactly what Ghost was all about, which said, okay, hang on a second here. Why don't we call these guys uncles? So there's this guy, but we have these uncles, and we're just going to pay all of them, right? So we'll give the primary chain, the longest chain, we're going to give them the bulk of the reward. But then these like other blocks here, we're still going to put them in because they're useful and they're going to be approving different transactions than Alice's block. And we're now not wasting as much work. So what does that mean? We can shrink the block interval. All right, so we can go from 10 minutes to seconds to maybe even sub-seconds. And the whole network doesn't have to see all the blocks before we get working on the next block because it's okay to build in different directions. Now, the problem is that it turns out that Ghost wasn't enough to completely solve this type of problem, whereas Spectre is an attempt to take it on steroids and put rigorous mathematical foundations behind it, build a whole theory.
And it went on to become successful. Now, if these two people decided to found a cryptocurrency called Casper, so what makes you think that Jonathan Sopolinsky and Aviv Zohar, who spent a decade researching about cryptocurrency, and if they decided to come up with a cryptocurrency called Casper, what makes you think that this cryptocurrency they've come up with cannot exceed what Ethereum is? Because Ethereum is based on the research of these two people, and now they have decided to come up with a new cryptocurrency which is now called Casper. Now, the good thing about Casper, because it is decentralized, you cannot label Jonathan Sopolinsky or Aviv Zohar as the owners of this cryptocurrency, because it is proof of work, it is decentralized, and it is open source. So it is owned by the community. And what makes a cryptocurrency successful is not the founders. It's not the original people that invented the technology. It is the community. It is the social layer that makes a cryptocurrency that much big. Because if no one adopts, or if no one understands how beautiful the technology is, I think it doesn't matter how brilliant the idea was. If the community is not part of the project, then the cryptocurrency is going to fail. But Casper has both. Casper has the brilliant minds who are the founders and the core team. It also has a brilliant community, a community that will spread the word about Casper as much as they can without getting anything, without getting paid. That's because they trust and they believe in the project. They've done their research. They believe this is a good revolutionary project. And that's why people can hold and not have any doubts even during periods of big dips. Knowing the actual face of Satoshi Nakamoto doesn't really matter. What really matters is knowing the exact vision and the mission of Satoshi Nakamoto. And only one cryptocurrency in the whole crypto industry keeps the vision and the mission of Satoshi Nakamoto, and that is Casper. So Casper is positioned well. It has the technology, it has the community, and it's going to get the adoption. And once everything clicks, Casper is going to explode, and most of the people are going to be talking about Casper. Now you have an opportunity to front run these big institutions before they know exactly what Casper is, and it's not going to take a long time before they discover this. They are going to discover Casper the same way as they discovered Bitcoin. And don't be late and wait for these people to know exactly what Casper is, because you're going to be late on Bitcoin and you're also going to be late on Casper. So don't make the same mistake as people back in 2013 who ignored Bitcoin, and they are now currently struggling to buy Bitcoin at 100k. So this is a wake-up call to everyone who thinks that Casper is just another crypto. Casper is not just another crypto. It is a cryptocurrency that took a decade of research. And some of these so-called successful cryptocurrencies, for example Ethereum, they used some of the research from the founders of Casper and they implemented it, and they were successful after implementing it, even reaching a 571 billion market cap. You can see that the research that they got from the Casper founders was successful, was the right one. Now these two people decided to found a cryptocurrency which is called Casper, and they did it right because proof of work, fairly launched, no pre-mines, no compromising on decentralization, not compromising on security, and yet still remaining fast and successful. So this is what Casper really is. For the people who don't understand Casper, I think it's going to be really expensive for them to learn what Casper really is. Now we have one tweet from Paul Von Son which said, now we have this tweet from Paul Von Son which says, Casper is like a Swiss knife version of Bitcoin. Being proof of work and decentralized, it serves not only the same store of value function, but also a spread of other high performance functions such as smart contracts, stablecoin, tokenization, IoT, and etc. So this is actually very true because he was replying one of the posts from one of the Bitcoiners who said, 5 trillion Fidelity says Bitcoin's ability to store value sets it apart from other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin has 18.5 trillion addressable market. This is a very good reply because most of the Bitcoiners think that Bitcoin was created to become a store of value, but that's not the exact mission. Bitcoin was created in order to become a medium of exchange, but due to the lack of scalability, that cannot be achieved. That's why you have cryptocurrencies like Casper that come and fill the mission of Bitcoin. So after understanding this, you can know exactly that Casper is destined for great success. If Ethereum used the research from Jonathan Sopolinsky and Avi Zohar and managed to acquire 571 billion in market cap, which if Casper achieved that market cap, it would put the price of Casper at $21. So one Casper would be worth $21. So if Casper managed to achieve the market cap of Ethereum right now, which is 337 billion US dollars, Casper would be at the price of $12. So choose wisely. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next episode.